I thought Lily Phillips' case was already too much, but here we have Bunny Blue, who apparently slept with 1,000 men. Hi, I'm Maria Paula Bermeo, clinical psychologist, and on this channel we talk about various topics and we analyze them from a psychological point of view. So if you're interested, please keep on watching. Before starting this video, I want to remind you that I give in-person and online therapy. So if you need a consultation, please feel free to reach me out on my social media, my phone number, my email. All of them will be listed down below in the description box as well. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel. It will help me out a lot. And if there is a specific topic that you would like me to talk about here on the channel, please leave it on the comments down below or DM me on my Instagram. I'm always open to suggestions and I love interacting with you. Guess what? Bunny Blue is Lily Phillips' friend, which can tell us they probably bonded over their careers making adult content on OF. Beautiful. But Bunny has been under fire for months already for valid reasons. But who is she? Let's meet her.
Is one of the most controversial people online.
25-year-old Bunny Blue from Derbyshire is making headlines around the world for filming herself having sex with teenagers and posting the footage online. She's been labelled a predator and has even been banned from Australia and thrown out of Fiji after planning to recruit the young men that she describes as barely legal to film with.
Bonnie says she's not doing anything illegal and doesn't sleep with anyone under the age of 18, but her critics say the men she's targeting are too young to understand the repercussions of what they're doing.
So is she just a content creator making money or a dangerous predator who should be stopped?
So yes, she is a 25-year-old woman who is posting pornographic content on OF, but she likes to collab with guys who just left adolescence like yesterday, already abnormal. But here's how she started and why she chose said career path.
So first of all, let's start with you, Bonnie, first of all. Yeah. How did you end up in this business and how did you describe your job?
Okay, so didn't know too much about the industry before I started, and it's as simple as filming videos and putting it online. I guess that's how I started.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah.
But you had a job in recruitment, didn't you?
Yes, yeah.
So well paid?
Yeah, average, sort of average pay, average annual leave, the whole thing to summarise it, average.
Okay, fair enough. So we've been talking, as we've mentioned in the show today,
Yeah.
your salary, what you earn at the moment is upwards, you've let me know, of £600,000 a month.
Yes.
I would change careers for that kind of money,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure I'd do what you do. Why have you decided that this is the route you're going to go down? Is it just about the money?
So it started off as just the money. So I didn't understand pleasure in sex as such. I didn't understand the educational side of things. So yes, it started off purely around money. But then as I got into it and as I educated myself in the industry, not only did I realise how much pleasure I received from it, but also how much there's a missing gap of educational, content online.
£600,000, which is approximately $731,000 a month. A good amount of money, hence why she stayed there. But it sounds as if she's trying to over-explain why she's doing corn with justifying that now it's not only for the money, but because she's now understanding the educational side of pornography. And here's when I ask, what is educational about corn? The only educational side of it is the negative affections they have long-term physically and psychologically. But because she says she is basically a sex education teacher, she points to a specific demographic. Young people, particularly teenage boys, who in her own words are barely legal, and she's trying to make relatable content so these young boys, and why not girls too, can feel identified and less intimidated about their sexuality.
Right, you have a very specific niche, don't you?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So barely legal, 18-year-olds. Because as I started my content, I realised it was not necessarily relatable to the average person. And I wanted to make my content relatable. I'm just a girl, I'm relatable, I'm sort of girl next door vibes. However, that does not portray online if I'm doing these rough, over-the-top scenes. And I want people to be able to watch my videos and be able to imagine themselves in it and, connect with it.
Yeah. Girl next door who is giving away their body, exposing herself on social media explicitly, sleeping with innumerable amounts of guys. Relatable, especially for the youth. And she says, oh, I make softer, not aggressive sexual content, as if making subtle corn made things better. It is still sickening, but I guess that she has an argument for that.
You use the word educate quite a lot.
100%.
Are you educating just yourself? Or are you educating these people who are
Yeah.
in their teens and again, 18 and upwards?
So I'm still learning every day, but my content is educational to those that I'm sleeping with and those that are watching it.
And one of the things that you really reiterate anytime where I've seen you talk about this at all is you say it's actually one of the safest
Oh my gosh, yes.
ways of people having sex or losing their virginity.
Yeah.
Why?
So people say it's an unsafe environment, but I can't think of one situation where an 18-year-old has had sex, where there's security on the door, they've had to bring passport, they've had to sign consent forms, they've had to do a breathalyzer,
Right.
and then they're sleeping with someone that's educated and understands the industry. So what part of that is unsafe?
So, in her brain, sleeping with an online prostitute educates virgin guys about sexuality because they are doing it with someone that already knows how to make things, and the ones watching this whole thing can also educate themselves while being viewers for the same reason. Does it sound functional? And it is a very safe option according to her because they have to bring their ID, because they sign consent forms, and again, because she knows the industry. Don't STIs matter too? What if these boys already have mental illnesses? Aren't you worried that they can potentially get worse because they are sleeping with a prostitute? That it can make them have a distorted meaning of what having sex actually is? That it can make them addicted to porn or can increase their already existing addiction to it? That they can create unhealthy habits because of it, that it can damage their interpersonal relationships, not only romantically, but with friends and family. It is not safe. And I was able to see that, again, she's trying to justify the educational side of this whole thing with nonsense, and she most likely knows it because in that same interview, there was another guest that was confronting her and pointing out the downsides of what she does, and she actually got somewhat defensive, and people get defensive when they get uncomfortable as a defense mechanism. And guys, this is just the introduction to Bunny Blue because there are more things that explain why she has been heavily criticized lately. Let's read some articles which I'll be linking down below as well. So what's going on? Well, the OnlyFans adult content creator has recently made a few podcast appearances, and during these recordings, she details some of the controversial ways she makes money. Namely, she has described how she has based herself in areas near universities and student hotspots in order to sleep with hundreds of barely legal 18 and 19-year-old men, along with a number of married men, including some university professors. And the latest twist, apparently it's all part of a marketing ploy. In one of her videos, she appears to be addressing a group of men consisting of fathers and their sons. She asks the group, "Dads, are you ready to bump me?" which is met with cheers. However, as the Daily Mail reports, the group actually appears to consist of fellow adult content creators, many of whom already have large followings. Bunny has yet to comment on this apparent revelation. She targets not only teens, but their parents as well. And yes, here it says that this might have been a marketing tactic, an ill one to say the least, to get more followers. But are you seeing the over-the-top, insane, sickening things she is promoting to her mostly teen demographic? And she dares to say that she is educating people. Soon she carved out a niche making videos of herself with a student-age young man. I was bored of living in the 9 to 5, so I thought I'm gonna give this a go. I've done Cancun in March, I've done Schoolies, which is in Australia, and then Freshers in the UK, said Blue on the Dream On podcast. I share my location online. I was like, this is where I'm gonna be, let me pleasure you. And there was a massive queue. People were waiting for over 8 hours. Blue claims that she checks each person's ID and asks them to sign a form stating they consent to footage of the encounter being posted on Blue's only page. Imagine a random good-looking person on the internet publishes a picture with a cardboard which says, "Hi, come sleep with me at this hour at this random place located in your city." First, it could be a scam that could put you in a dangerous situation as kidnapping, robbery, and second, if many people you don't know either show up and all of you will be sleeping with the same woman, wouldn't you think about the unsanitary conditions you could be submitted to as STIs, which I already mentioned? And here's saying, "Let me pleasure you." I don't think this experience would be that pleasant unless the people showing up have a mental pathology as porn addiction, compulsive sexual behaviors, some sort of paraphilia, severe self-esteem issues, and maybe not even with all of those things. It's actually disturbing. During another podcast appearance on GK's Very Saving Grace, Blue said, I don't want just to do students, I want to do their dads as well. So to be fair, I need to give credit to the student. He gave me this idea. He came with his dad. Blue claims that the father was jealous and he wanted to join in. She added, I made them go separate. Blue has also made claims about sleeping with married men, claiming that these men came to her because they were not satisfied by their partners. It's no secret women moan a lot, she said to the Daily Start. What they don't understand is that all that moaning is unattractive and making their men look elsewhere for fun and pleasure. She added, if women were better in the bedroom, men wouldn't cheat. All their nagging about posts not being done is resulting in me being bent over their kitchen worktops whilst they are out. I used to blame the men for cheating, but since being a sex worker, I blame the woman. Men look elsewhere when they are bored, so stop boring them. What makes you think parents and sons that sleep with the same prostitute at basically the same time is healthy? It's parental neglect, abuse. It's not a great idea for your business, even if you sleep with them separately. And again, she says, you women are so annoying during the act, and that is why your partners call me because I'm better than you all. And this screams low self-esteem and begging for validation. Instead of diminishing women, normal women that want to have normal and sane relationships, Bunny should be addressing her own internal issues because she's not doing this whole OF thing for fun and for helping people. She has many issues herself. It's not normal for her to aim to sleep with especially barely legal guys, and it's not sane to post OF content with them. It's not normal for you to be happy because you're sleeping with their dads as well, probably married dads. You have problems that you're trying to cope with by sleeping with all of these people because that gives you an apparent sense of control, which temporarily covers other things that you haven't been able to solve in your life, which you should actually do. Blue has since spoken to Cosmopolitan UK about the backlash. I received backlash for sleeping with barely legal 18-year-olds, but the key word in that sentence is legal, she said. Rather than comment on my TikToks, people should complain to the government to increase the age from 18 to 21, as I'm only complying with the UK law. As for Blue's comments about sleeping with married men, she told Cosmopolitan that she doesn't encourage cheating, but if men's wives aren't pleasuring them, then they will go elsewhere, and that's a fact. Opinions heard when they are close to home, which is why I received a lot of hate from women. So if the government decides that all of a sudden 13 is a legal age, that means she will sleep with them as well. There is something called autonomy and common sense, which doesn't require any law or government to tell you that you shouldn't do something because it is wrong. If you are 25, a young adult who's supposed to have developed and now is somewhat mature to take the best decisions, what makes you think sleeping with recently out of high school kids is fine? That makes you a predator, even if they are legal. When it's the other way around, a 25-year-old man with a recently turned 18-year-old girl, people call out those men for being creepy. The same is happening here. And she says she's receiving hate just because women's partners cheat on them with Bunny or other girls like her. First, a healthy relationship is not only about sex. If that's the case, then you might be on a toxic territory, because healthy relationships require other priorities as life goals, values, morals. If sex is the only reason for that relationship to be, then you are not in the right place. But Bonnie says, girl, you are the problem if your boyfriend has an affair because she's trying to feed her lack in self-esteem in a pathological manner. I don't know why some people are so shocked when their partners cheat. She adds, shifting the blame for their partner's infidelity onto women, as she explains that, according to her views, if you're not having sex with your partner and they cheat on you, what do you expect? Bunny doubled down on her stance during a radio interview with Australian presenters Kyle and Jackie O, where she insisted that if a man has gone out to work a hard shift and his partner isn't willing to pleasure him, he has every right to look elsewhere. She has definitely had some toxic experiences with her relationships. She might have seen toxic behaviors at home, then she replicated those in her relationships, and that is why she sees that as something normal. But Bonnie, it is not. You may be trapped in dysfunctional cycles that you need to break, and you can do that on therapy instead of trying to do so while selling your body, because that's damaging you and will be worse over time. And you may tell me, those are just interviews. She may not be harassing these young boys in real life. I fear she actually is.
I just wondered, I can't see it on the menu, but where do I get the 5 guys from? The 5 guys. I didn't know if it was like a special room or you can take me out back.
Oh, okay, okay. No, we don't. Yeah.
You not got 5 guys for me?
No.
Well, you're one of them, and I can see 4 others in the back.
Are you being serious?
I'm being serious.
No, I don't think that's happening.
What about after your shift? I mean, I'd want to give you, a good rating.
I'm a Christian man and I'm saving myself for marriage.
I'm asking for what's on the menu, that's all.
Genuinely, I feel like I'm doing it right now. I can hand you a menu if you want.
Are you on it?
No, I'm not.
Oh, that's a shame. Well, if there's no 5 guys, I'll have to come back tomorrow. What time do you finish?
I'm not actually not sure what time I'm finishing today.
All right, meet you back here in a few hours.
Okay, I'm gonna go straight home.
I'll join you.
That's okay.
Thank you. See you later.
This poor boy is just a young student trying to make some extra income, and he clearly looks uncomfortable with Bunny trying to hit on him. He even tells her, I'm a Christian and I'm waiting till marriage, and she keeps insisting, even saying she will come back later, and the boy keeps rejecting her. Predatory, creepy behavior. The conduct of a person that wants to receive a yes or yes answer to fill empty spaces she has on her life for potentially unhealed emotional wounds that have put her in this insane position. But if you thought that was it, no, there is more. Remember I told you Bunny was friends with someone I already talked about here on the channel? Lily Phillips, the woman who slept with 100 men in one day. Well, Lily promised she will be sleeping with 1,000 men in 24 hours in February, which she might have already done, and she proved it with a very disturbing video that if I showed it in here, I'd be censored. But it seems as if Bunny kind of felt pressured and she needed to run faster than her friend and colleague, and she claims she slept with 1,000 men in 12 hours like last week or 2 weeks ago. I'm not sure. The new generation adult star has left people completely dumbfounded by these shenanigans, coming a few days after OnlyFans sensation Lily Phillips said she was in training for this very challenge. Bunny insists she slept with 1,057 men in 12 hours, a record which she states bests Lisa Sparks, who slept with 919 men in a single day in 2004. And different to Lily, from my understanding, she didn't post any video of this adventure on OF, but even if she was making this whole thing up, why? What are you gaining with that? Attention for mistreating yourself, attention for treating yourself as a disposable object, attention for putting your body and mind at insane danger levels. Is it worth it? Exactly how Bunny slept with 1,057 men in just 12 hours. If it is divided into the proper time scale, there are 720 minutes in 12 hours. So it means if all her claims are true, each man would have been with the star for not more than 1 minute. 60 seconds. Remember Lily cried because according to her 5 minutes was not enough to satisfy all of the men? What about 1 minute?
The big 1,000 was completely done. So it started off, I'll give you a bit of an overview. After To start with, it was just like the room was absolutely full. Then we did groups of 5, like one after the other of 5s. I wanted to give people more time, so then it went down to like one-on-ones, didn't it? So like one person would watch whilst I was with somebody, and then it would literally just be like a rotating circle like that.
If men really jumped into the train, seriously, where is your self-respect? Where is your self-love? The value you give to yourself? Why were you okay with watching other people rolling around in front of you and then immediately doing it yourself? Have you thought about the consequences? And if these guys were teens, where are the parents? If you neglect them so much, they have the chance to participate on this type of madness, then you are part of the problem because your kids feel so abandoned to the point they look for shelter on an online prostitute.
1,000 men's inside of you today.
Yeah.
What hurts more, your mouth or your...
Probably done that a little bit. I don't need a wheelchair, like I am fine. Just feels like I've had a heavy day in the bedroom, which is exactly what I've had. I think if it had continued how it did for the first sort of 3-4 hours, I would have struggled.
Let's get a round of applause in the room, people. There we go.
You know, the people cheering her up are called enablers, enhancers, because they are giving her a reward for these dysfunctional behaviors, and she's receiving the attention she so much needs, which encourages her to keep harming herself in that way. But at the same time, she looks so numb. Of course, because that is what meaningless hookups cause, and also her body looks so tense due to the stress it was submitted to. But I'm sure that comes from her knowing she's not doing what's best for her overall health as well. But she's in complete denial, and she's trying to ignore her unease and discomfort by showing she's happy doing what she does with very weird videos as this one.
This is what my face looks like after taking 1,000 men less than 12 hours ago. I told you girls taking fluids for moisturizer was good for your skin.
Overall, I need to say that the amount of explicit sexual content online is insane, especially when there are people as Bonnie Blue or Lily Phillips trying to get viral for these sick challenges and promote them all over social media, which kids use a lot nowadays. They can find these individuals, feel curious about their content, watch it, and suddenly get trapped into a cycle of constant porn consumption, which harms their psyche permanently. I'm not the only one that says so. And those are just a few studies that show some consequences. That is why in the case of parents, it's really important to warn your kids about the things they can encounter on the internet and how those can affect them. There are topics about life you need to talk about with them as they grow in order to make them understand the importance of having character, values, self-love, and self-respect to help them build a healthy personality, which will allow them to face the different challenges life brings successfully. It can be uncomfortable for sure, but it's better to have an uncomfortable conversation for a moment instead of having a kid dealing with affections on their overall health long term. And that is why I also encourage parents and kids to set rules, limits, make agreements so the caregivers can be aware of the sites their kids are visiting, the people they follow, the content they search for and consume, even the content their friends consume and are showing to their kids, so the adults can guide the kids and they can process everything they see happening online in a functional way. They are safer. Parents can educate them about topics that are considered taboo. Everything while creating an environment of trust in which kids can talk freely so parents can actively listen to them and give them a hand. Now, going back to Bonnie. She's different to Lily Phillips in a way because Lily did this whole 1,000 men thing in the name of feminism and empowerment. Despite her possibly coming from a dysfunctional family dynamic, which explains why her parents are okay with her doing her thing on OF and her mom managing her finances, she's most likely hiding some things that make her do what she's doing, but I already talked about her, so... Bonnie, on the other hand, is a potential example of someone that maybe comes from a very dysfunctional family in which cheating might be considered normal. She might have been told by the women in her family, husbands are allowed to cheat because we cannot satisfy all of their needs. She might have grown in a household in which women were diminished, in which their value was reduced to sexuality, which is so unhealthy, but that might be why she's trying to convince herself. Some of her clients decide to have affairs with her, and she has gaslighted herself to believe that is fine as well. Because for her, that could be a normal thing when it shouldn't be. And you could ask me, how do you know? Why do you think that? Well, remember that picture of Bonnie holding a cardboard in which she announced she was going to be in some random place to sleep with whoever that shows up? Her family helps her to do those banners, as if this was some kind of fun family activity. Which same parent is up to help her children to prostitute themselves?
I cannot imagine sitting down and having a conversation like that with my mum and dad.
100%. So no, I was always going to tell him that the video got leaked very quickly, and I was sort of only a week into it at this point. So I was always going to tell him, but I wanted to understand it better myself before I could sit them down and say, hey, this is what I'm doing, here's the reasons why. To start with, I was a bit gutted and was like, we won't choose this for you. But that was at the start. If I ask them now, it's a complete different story. They see how happy I am, that it is safe, and that the main thing is, like any parents, they want their children to be happy, and they can see the change of me, as from working in an office, sitting in rush hour traffic, getting given 20 days annual leave, to now having this freedom and flexibility in life, which most people strive to achieve, but they're not successful enough.
It is okay to not have a degree as your main goal, to make money for a living. Not everyone wants a degree, not everyone needs a degree. It doesn't guarantee that you will make money. Even if people get it, sometimes they choose a different career path because, again, a degree doesn't guarantee economic success, and parents supporting their sons, daughters in what they choose to do for a living is pretty normal. But it's normal if they decide to open a restaurant, if they become fitness coaches, beauty bloggers, makeup artists, they know how to knit and they want to make clothes and sell them. But mentally stable parents wouldn't allow their kids to sell their bodies no matter their age, because that puts their health, their integrity, their whole life at risk. Bonnie says, my parents see how happy I am outside of an office and that I have the freedom to do whatever I want with my time. I think they are happy for the money, but that is also concerning because that means they don't really care about their daughter at all. Even if she's an adult that makes her own decision, I swear psychologically sane parents wouldn't want anything to do with that money. They wouldn't want to know when and where are you going to be sleeping with strangers. They wouldn't help you to do your cardboard announcements and pose for pictures while doing them. Parents like that are sadistic, narcissist, aggressive, due to many unhealed wounds they have themselves, which they display on their children, and that is so ill. Now, I also have another hypothesis, and I need to highlight that this is only a supposition of mine, a theory that hasn't been proven. Allegedly, I feel Bonnie could have also been groomed, maybe abused, harassed by older men while being a child, a teen, which caused her traumas, and now she's doing the same to younger boys. We've all seen that victims of SA have become abusers themselves because of the trauma. Maybe she's another case, but the difference is that she's portraying it as if she's trying to educate people to not feel that bad about it, and that she's making money out of it, which could make her blind because she's obtaining a benefit out of it. And again, this is just a theory, but it wouldn't surprise me that she's taking advantage from young boys, particularly because she's trying to feel control, the control she probably didn't have if she was abused herself by sleeping with naive, unexperienced kids, which is a dysfunctional attempt to cope with all the trauma. I said before, maybe women in her life normalized cheating and reduced her value to sexuality. Maybe Bunny developed a rejection to females because of that, because maybe for her that meant women were weak, dumb, ignorant, and that could explain why she's diminishing other women, telling them their partners are cheaters because they are so annoying or cannot satisfy their men is her way to feel superior. And the fact that these women's children, boyfriends, spouses are looking for her is her way to tell them, I'm better than you. But she's been blinded by her need to feed her ego and self-esteem that she's forgetting the damage she's causing to all of that people and herself. And finally, I just need to say something that I believe is super relevant. Lily is 23. This girl, Bunny Blue, is 25, and there are many girls around that age that are getting involved in hookup culture, in pornography, because there's this idea that your 20s is your prime era. This is fine to think, but don't distort the facts. Your 20s could be your prime era because you're still young, you can travel, go out, meet people, make friends, have your glow up, grow professionally, go to concerts, festivals. It shouldn't be reduced to you're young and beautiful, sleep around with everyone. That is not great for you in any way, because in the end, you will end up having a hurt body, a hurt mind, a hurt spirit, which will most likely affect you for life. I know that OF and corn seem like the easy way to make tons of money, but first, remember that being a rich OF model is literally something that happens to a 0.000001%, because most girls make like $150 income per month, and even if you were from that minority that makes millions, sometimes the easiest and fastest things come with very expensive and severe consequences that money won't heal. Please take care of yourself. Is there something you learned from this video or something that you would like to add to the conversation? Leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to like and share with someone that may find this useful. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you never miss out for more interesting psychology content. Thanks for watching.